Right now it's 6. This Christmas will mark nearly 20 years that the family of a Columbus police officer will have to celebrate without their son. On January 6th of 2005, Officer Brian Hurst was shot to death while on special duty at an East Columbus bank. Today, President Joe Biden commuted the sentence of Hurst's killer, changing the penalty from death to life in prison with no chance of parole. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Yolanda Harris. 10 TV's Kevin Landers covered this story when it happened 19 years ago, and tonight he spoke to Hurst's parents and widow, and he shares their story tonight.
It was in this federal courthouse where a jury sentenced Darrell Lawrence to death for the murder of Officer Brian Hurst. Hurst's family told me they're shocked to learn President Biden decided to overturn the jury's decision.
I cannot speak strong enough about how absolutely devastating this is to think that someone can take the legal system and just basically say it doesn't matter.
The family of former Columbus police officer Brian Hurst are trying to make sense of President Joe Biden's decision to commute the death sentence of their son's killer to life in prison.
I'm one of the few Republicans that actually understood when he pardoned his own son, and him being a parent, I'm just shocked that he would be so willing to forgive someone who murdered my son.
The jury convict him, but we also had the appellate court uphold the conviction, and that in itself tells you that this was the way things are supposed to work.
Hurst was working special duty at this Fifth Third Bank in East Columbus on January 6, 2005, when serial bank robber Darrell Lawrence came in to rob it. The two exchanged gunfire and Officer Hurst was killed. He was 33 years old. He left behind a wife and a 6-month-old daughter. His widow sent us a statement. My daughter and I are disappointed in the president's decision, not only to commute Lawrence's sentence, but also many of the other inmates who committed unspeakable crimes, including the murder of children. It undermines the entire justice system. As Lawrence was convicted and sentenced by a jury, there was never a question of guilt.
How do you want people to remember your son?
Well, with all the, bad press policemen get nowadays, I just want them to remember that Brian was one of the good ones. And that he was credited with saving countless lives that day in the bank.
Dante Oliverio was Hurst's partner, and he told the Washington Post he supports the president's decision. He said, putting to death the person who killed my police partner and best friend would have brought me no peace. Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
Thank you, Kevin. Well, the local Fraternal Order of Police says they're disappointed and outraged at President Biden's decision. FOP President Brian Steele said Mr. Biden's decision is an inexcusable affront to the memory of Officer Brian Hurst and the law enforcement community as a whole.